happiest memory you've shared with your family or friends?
That's a wonderful question, Emily. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the English podcast for listening and speaking. I'm Brian.
And I'm Emily. We're so glad you're joining us today. Brian, that question really makes me think. You know, one of my happiest memories is from a few summers ago. My whole extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, even some second cousins, all rented a big house by the lake. We spent the days swimming and playing board games, and every evening we'd have a huge barbecue. It was just so chaotic and joyful, with everyone laughing and sharing stories. It truly felt like a big, warm hug from all my favorite people.
That sounds absolutely wonderful, Emily. It's those kinds of moments, those deep connections with the people closest to us, that really enrich our lives, isn't it? And that's exactly why we chose today's topic. Learning to talk about family and friends isn't just about expanding your vocabulary. It's about gaining the language skills to share your most precious memories and describe the most important people in your life.
Exactly. Whether you're introducing a family member, describing your best friend, or talking about a special celebration, having the right words makes all the difference. It helps you connect more deeply with English speakers and really express yourself authentically.
Absolutely. This topic is fundamental for building fluent, natural conversations. Think about it. When you meet new people, one of the first things you often talk about is your family or your social circle. It's a universal way to build rapport and share a part of yourself.
So, if you're enjoying learning English with us, don't forget to like, share, and comment on this episode. It helps YouTube recommend our show to more people, which means more learners can improve their English alongside us. We love seeing your engagement.
Your support truly helps our channel grow. And today we have so much to cover. We'll be diving into new vocabulary for describing different family members and friends, useful grammar for talking about relationships, and real-life expressions for celebrating milestones and offering support. We've got mini dialogues, personal stories, and even a role-play scenario coming up to help you practice everything in context.
Get ready to expand your English vocabulary and feel more confident talking about the people who matter most. Let's get started. So, speaking of my lake house memory, that was truly a gathering of my extended family. And that leads us perfectly into our first segment today, describing family members.
Excellent transition, Emily. It's a foundational topic. When we talk about family, we often start with our immediate family. Your mother, your father, and your siblings. That's your brothers and sisters.
Right. And then you have your grandparents, your mother's parents, or your father's parents, and your aunts and uncles, who are your parents' siblings. These are your parents' brothers and sisters.
And their children are your cousins. Many people have lots of cousins, especially in big families. Like you mentioned, Emily, you have a lot of cousins.
Oh, I do. My family is huge. My mom is one of 5 children, so you can imagine all the aunts, uncles, and cousins that come with that. It's quite the clan.
Wow, that is a big family. So how many nieces and nephews do you have, Emily? For our listeners, a niece is your brother or sister's daughter, and a nephew is your brother or sister's son. These are your siblings' children.
Good question, Brian. So my older sister has 2 children, a daughter, who is my niece, and a son, who is my nephew. And my younger brother has a son, another nephew. So I have 1 niece and 2 nephews. They're all still quite young, which makes family gatherings even more fun and loud. Their energy is infectious.
I can imagine. And when people get married, their family expands even further, doesn't it? That's where in-laws come in. These are the relatives of your husband or wife. For example, your spouse's mother is your mother-in-law, and their father is your father-in-law. Your spouse's brother is your brother-in-law, and their sister is your sister-in-law. These are your spouse's relatives by marriage.
That's a really important distinction, Brian. It can get a bit confusing at first, but it's very common. My husband's sister is my sister-in-law, and his parents are my in-laws. They're lovely people, and I consider them just as much family as my own blood relatives. My sister-in-law's cooking is actually almost as good as my mother's.
Exactly. And all these people, your immediate family, extended family, and in-laws, can collectively be referred to as your relatives. It's a broader term encompassing everyone connected by blood or marriage.
So, let's go back to that lake house memory, Brian. You asked about my extended family. Can you picture it? There were about 30 of us in total. My parents were there, of course, and all my siblings. I have two, an older sister and a younger brother. My sister's family was there, and so was my brother's family.
Right, so your sister and brother are your siblings. And how many of your aunts and uncles were able to make it? Was it all of your mom's siblings?
Almost all of them. My mom has two sisters and two brothers, so all four of her siblings were there, with their spouses, my aunts-in-law and uncles-in-law, you could say, and all of their children, my cousins. Plus, my sister's husband and my brother's wife were there too, and of course the kids, my niece and nephews running around. My aunt's laugh is so distinctive, you can hear it across the lake.
That sounds like a lively group. Whose idea was it to rent such a big house? Was it one of your parents' ideas? Or perhaps one of your aunts or uncles?
Oh, that was actually my mother's idea. She loves bringing everyone together. She said, let's make a big splash this year. And she organized everything from finding the house to coordinating who brought what food. Her planning skills are truly amazing.
That's amazing. So your mother's organizational skills really made that trip possible. And what about your grandparents? Were your grandmother and grandfather able to join the fun?
Sadly, my grandparents aren't with us anymore, but they were always the heart of our family gatherings when they were alive. I have so many fond memories of my grandmother's cooking at these events and my grandfather's stories. Even though they weren't there in person, their presence was felt through all the traditions we continued. For example, my aunt's famous potato salad recipe is actually my grandmother's original recipe. It's a taste of family history.
That's a beautiful way to keep their memory alive. And it highlights the use of possessives really well. We talk about my grandmother's cooking, my aunt's famous potato salad. It shows ownership or connection. Let's practice that a bit more. Listeners, pay attention to the apostrophes at the end of the name or noun. Emily, whose car was the biggest for the trip?
That would have been my uncle's minivan. He has a huge one perfect for transporting all the luggage and a few extra cousins. We usually cram in as many people as possible. It's often filled to the brim with my uncle's camping gear and a couple of excited kids.
So your uncle's minivan was the key to transport. And what about the barbecue? Whose specialty was grilling? Was it your father's domain or one of your cousin's job?
Oh, the barbecue was definitely my father's and my oldest cousin's shared responsibility. My father's burgers are legendary, and my cousin's grilled corn is out of this world. They really make a great team. My cousin's technique for corn is to soak it in milk first. It makes it incredibly sweet.
So we can see how essential these possessive forms are. My father's burgers, my cousin's grilled corn. It shows a direct relationship. What about the board games you mentioned? Whose collection did you use? Was it your family's collection? Or perhaps one of your aunt's children's games?
That's a good point. We actually combined a lot of them. My sister's board game collection is huge, and so is my younger brother's. So we had a mix of games. My niece's favorite game is Candyland, which we played a lot. But my nephew's preferred game is a card game called Uno. So we had something for everyone. My sister's strategy for winning at Uno is quite aggressive, which makes it fun.
Fantastic examples, Emily. You've naturally used so many family terms and possessive forms. Let's quickly review some of these relationships for our listeners, just to solidify them.
Good idea, Brian. Let's make sure everyone's got it down.
So your father and mother are your parents.
Your siblings are your brothers and sisters.
Your grandparents are your parents' parents.
Your aunts and uncles are your parents' siblings.
And their children are your cousins.
Your brother or sister's daughter is your niece, and their son is your nephew.
And when you get married, your spouse's family becomes your in-laws, your mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law.
And all of these people, whether by blood or marriage, are your relatives.
Perfect. And remember the possessive form, using apostrophe S. For example, my sister's husband, our cousin's house, my father's car. It indicates belonging or connection.
It really helps make your descriptions clear. Instead of saying, the husband of my sister, you can just say, my sister's husband. It's much more natural and common in English conversation. It also makes sentences much more concise.
Absolutely. Emily, can you think of another example of using a possessive form with a family member in a sentence? Maybe something from a daily life scenario?
Sure. Let's say, my aunt's dog is incredibly energetic. He always wants to play fetch. Or, my cousin's wedding is next month and I'm helping her choose a dress. Or even, I'm going to visit my grandmother's garden this weekend. She grows the most beautiful roses.
Great examples. Or, I borrowed my brother's jacket because it was cold outside. Or, is this your mother's recipe for apple pie? It's delicious. And we can also use plural possessives like, my parents' anniversary is next month.
Those are perfect. And notice how we can also use our for shared possessions, like our grandparents' anniversary is next week, so we're planning a big party. Or, our family's traditions mean a lot to us.
Yes, our is another important possessive word. Our family's traditions are very important to us. It speaks to a group's shared connection, emphasizing the collective aspect of family.
This is such an important set of vocabulary for anyone learning English, because family is such a universal topic. We talk about our families all the time, in every culture.
Indeed. And understanding these terms and how to use possessive forms will make your conversations much more fluid and natural. It allows you to quickly and clearly identify relationships and belonging.
So listeners, as you go about your day, try to think about your own family. Who are your siblings? How many cousins do you have? Can you describe your grandmother's favorite hobby or your father's job using the possessive apostrophe S? Try to create a few sentences.
That's an excellent way to practice. Or, if you have a big family gathering coming up, try to identify who is who. Who is your aunt's husband? Who is your sister's child? It's like a fun English challenge.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. The more you try to use these words in real sentences, the more comfortable and natural they'll become. Practice truly makes progress.
Exactly. The goal is to start living the language, one phrase at a time. This vocabulary about family members is truly a building block. It's foundational.
It really is. It opens up so many possibilities for sharing personal stories and connecting with others on a deeper level. You'll find these words incredibly useful in daily conversation.
So that wraps up our segment on describing family members. We've covered immediate family, extended family, in-laws, and of course those crucial possessive forms.
Up next, we're going to shift our focus from family to another equally important group of people in our lives, our friends. We'll explore vocabulary to describe different types of friendships and how to talk about the amazing people who choose to be in our lives.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking. Before the break, we were deep into talking about family members and how to describe those important connections. That's right. And now we're shifting our focus to another incredibly vital group of people in our lives, our friends. Because let's be honest, friends are the family we choose, aren't they?
Absolutely, Emily. Friends add so much richness to our lives, and it's essential to have the vocabulary to talk about them. We'll explore different types of friends, personality adjectives, and how to use comparatives to describe those relationships.
So, Brian, let's start with some basic categories of friends. We have acquaintances, which are people you know slightly. Maybe you've met them a few times, but you're not close. Like someone you recognize from a coffee shop or a person you met at a party.
Precisely. Then there are classmates, people you attend class with, whether in school or university. You might be friendly with them, but not necessarily friends outside of class. Similarly, colleagues are people you work with. You share a professional connection, but friendship can develop from that, of course.
And neighbors. People who live next door are very close to you. Sometimes they become good friends. Sometimes they're just people you wave to across the fence. It really depends on the individual relationships.
Moving up the scale of closeness, we have friends generally, which is a broad term. But then we have close friends. These are individuals you share a deeper connection with, someone you trust and spend more time with.
And at the very top, for many people, there's a best friend. This is often one person or sometimes a very small group with whom you share your deepest thoughts and experiences. They are your go-to person for everything.
You also have childhood friends, people you've known since you were very young. These friendships often have a special bond because of the shared history and memories.
I love that distinction, Brian. It really shows the different layers of friendship. And speaking of best friends, it's always interesting to hear how people meet their closest companions. Do you have a story about how you met your best friend?
I do, Emily. My best friend's name is Mark. We actually met during our first year of university. I was feeling a bit overwhelmed and shy, trying to find my way around, and I walked into the wrong lecture hall on the first day.
Oh no, that's relatable. What happened then?
Well, I quickly realized my mistake and was about to sneak out when Mark, who was sitting near the back, just smiled and quietly said, "Don't worry, this isn't the calculus lecture, but you're welcome to stay." He had a very relaxed and friendly demeanor right from the start.
That's so kind of him. So he was very welcoming, which is a great quality. How would you describe his personality back then, and how has it changed or stayed the same over the years?
He was, and still is, incredibly outgoing. He's the kind of person who can talk to anyone about anything. He's also very adventurous, always keen to try new things, whether it's hiking a new trail or trying a weird new food. I, on the other hand, was a bit more reserved back then, so he really helped pull me out of my shell.
So, he was more outgoing than you were at the time, and definitely more adventurous than most people you knew. That's a great contrast that often makes for strong friendships.
Exactly. Over the years, I've come to appreciate how loyal he is. If I ever needed help, or just someone to listen, he's always been there. No questions asked. He's incredibly supportive. When I decided to pursue this podcast, he was one of the first people to encourage me.
Loyal and supportive are such crucial adjectives for a best friend. It means you can always count on them. What about his sense of humor? Is he funny?
Oh, he's hilarious. He has a very witty sense of humor, always making clever jokes that catch you off guard. He's definitely funnier than almost anyone I know, and his jokes always manage to lighten the mood, even in tough situations. We spent so many evenings just laughing until our sides hurt.
So, his sense of humor makes him more entertaining than a lot of people. And witty is a wonderful descriptive word. It means he's quick and clever with his words. Did you have a lot of shared interests from the beginning, or did your friendship develop more because your personalities complemented each other?
It was a bit of both. We both loved strategy board games, which was a great starting point for us to bond. We'd spend hours in the common room playing chess or more complex games, but I think our personalities really complemented each other. His optimism balanced my occasional tendency to overthink things. He's also incredibly trustworthy, which is essential in any close friendship. I knew I could tell him anything, and it would stay between us.
Trustworthy is another absolute must for a best friend. It builds that deep connection and allows for true openness. And optimism is a fantastic trait to have in a friend. It sounds like he was very dependable, too. Would you say he's more dependable than other friends you've had in your life?
Definitely more dependable. He's always reliable. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. If we make plans, he's always on time. That level of reliability made our friendship so solid. It's comforting to know you have someone like that in your corner.
That's wonderful to hear, Brian. It highlights how different qualities contribute to the strength of a friendship. So to recap some of these personality adjectives for our listeners: outgoing for someone who is social and enjoys being with people, adventurous for someone who likes new experiences, loyal for someone who is faithful and stands by you, supportive for someone who encourages and helps you, witty for someone who is clever and humorous, trustworthy for someone you can rely on and confide in, and dependable or reliable for someone you can count on.
Excellent summary, Emily. And notice how we also used comparatives throughout that story. We said Mark was more outgoing than Brian, funnier than almost anyone Brian knew, and more dependable than other friends.
Exactly. Comparatives are super useful when you want to compare one friend to another or even to yourself. You can say, my childhood friend is kinder than my classmate, or my colleague is less talkative than my best friend, or my new neighbor seems friendlier than my old one. It allows you to express nuances in personality and relationship dynamics. The structure is usually more plus adjective or adjective plus, followed by than. Let's practice that. Brian, can you give me an example comparing two types of friends using one of the adjectives we just discussed?
Certainly. I'd say a close friend is generally more understanding than an acquaintance. You share more with them, so they have a better grasp of your situation.
Good one. And I might say, my best friend is more patient than my sibling when I'm trying to learn something new. Siblings can be a bit less patient sometimes, can't they?
Ha ha ha, they certainly can be. Emily, thinking about your own friends, how would you describe your closest friend using some of these adjectives and maybe a comparative?
Oh, that's a great question. My closest friend, Sarah, is incredibly thoughtful. She always remembers little details about my life and goes out of her way to show she cares. For example, she'll send me a text reminding me about something important I mentioned weeks ago.
That's a wonderful quality in a friend. So she's more thoughtful than many other people?
Absolutely. More thoughtful than almost anyone I know. She's also very empathetic. If I'm feeling down, she's not just supportive, she truly understands and feels what I'm going through. She's more empathetic than anyone else I've met. And she's quite creative, too, always coming up with unique ideas for fun activities.
Empathetic is a powerful word. It means you can understand and share the feelings of another. It creates a deep bond. It sounds like your friendship with Sarah is very strong.
It really is. And we've been friends since high school, so she's also a childhood friend. We've shared so many life experiences together, which makes the bond even stronger. We've seen each other grow and change, and that shared history makes our connection truly unique.
That shared history with a childhood friend is incredibly special. You have a lifetime of memories to draw upon. For our listeners, it's important to remember that these descriptive words are key to painting a vivid picture of your relationships.
Yes, instead of just saying, my friend is good, you can say, my friend is loyal and supportive, and he's funnier than anyone else I know. It adds so much more detail and emotion.
Exactly. It makes your English much more expressive and natural. When you meet new people, by talking about your friends is a common way to share about your life.
So, listeners, try to think about your own friends. Who is your best friend? How would you describe their personality using adjectives like outgoing, loyal, witty, or trustworthy? And can you use comparatives? Is your best friend more adventurous than you are? Are they kinder than your colleagues? Practice making those comparisons. Don't just list the words. Try to put them into a sentence, describing a real person in your life. The more you connect the vocabulary to your own experiences, the better you'll remember it.
And remember, friendship isn't just about what they are, but also about what you do together. So think about the activities you share with your close friends or childhood friends.
This vocabulary will empower you to talk about these significant relationships in English with much more confidence and nuance. It's about building those bridges in conversation.
That's a great way to put it. From discussing family to now talking about our diverse network of friends, we're building a strong foundation for expressing ourselves about the people who matter most.
Next up, we're going to dive into celebrations and life events, all those special occasions we share with our family and friends. Get ready for some party planning vocabulary.
You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking. That last segment on friends was so insightful, Brian. It really highlighted the different shades of our connections.
It truly did, Emily. And speaking of connections, often the strongest bonds are forged and celebrated during special moments in our lives. So now we're moving on to a topic that is full of joy, memories, and lots of useful English vocabulary, celebrations, and life events.
I love this topic. Life is full of reasons to celebrate, isn't it? From big milestones to small everyday joys, and these moments are almost always shared with our family and friends.
Exactly. And learning how to talk about these events in English is crucial for natural conversation. We'll cover key vocabulary like birthday, anniversary, graduation, wedding, reunion, and more. Plus, we'll focus on how to use the past tense and present perfect to accurately describe these occasions.
Perfect. So let's dive right in with some of the most common celebrations. The first one that comes to mind for many people is a birthday. Everyone has one. How do we usually talk about birthdays, Brian?
Well, a birthday is the anniversary of the day on which a person was born. We usually celebrate birthdays with parties, cakes, and gifts. For example, we celebrated my nephew's 5th birthday last weekend with a big party. That uses the simple past.
And how about an anniversary? That's another common celebration, but for something different, right?
That's right. An anniversary is the date on which an event took place in a previous year. Most commonly, we talk about wedding anniversaries. For instance, my parents are celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary next month. That's a future plan, but the word anniversary is key. Or in the past, they celebrated their 25th anniversary with a big dinner last year.
Oh, 30 years is a huge milestone. It's lovely to celebrate enduring love. What about graduation? That's a massive life event for many young people.
1.
That's a great point about the past tense versus present perfect, Brian. Can you explain that distinction a bit more for our listeners? When should we use I celebrated versus I have celebrated?
Certainly, Emily. This is a very common point of confusion for English learners. We use the simple past, like I celebrated, when we're talking about a specific event that happened at a definite time in the past and is now finished.
So if I say I celebrated my best friend's birthday last Saturday, that's a specific event, past and done. Exactly. Last Saturday tells us when. Other common time expressions for the simple past include yesterday, last week, 3 years ago, or in 2022. Got it. And what about the present perfect, I have celebrated?
We use the present perfect when we're talking about an experience that happened at an unspecified time in the past, or an action that started in the past and continues to the present, or an action that happened in the past but has a result in the present. It often connects the past to the present in some way.
So if I say I have celebrated many birthdays with my family, I'm not saying exactly when each birthday happened, but rather that this is an experience I've had multiple times up to now.
Precisely. You're talking about the general experience over your lifetime. Other time expressions often used with the present perfect include ever, never, already, yet, for a period of time, or since a specific point in time. For example, have you ever attended a traditional wedding ceremony?
That makes a lot of sense. So simple past for specific, finished events, and present perfect for experiences or actions connected to the present. Let's try another one. What about a wedding?
A wedding is a marriage ceremony, especially one with a celebration. For example, my cousin got married last summer. That's simple past, or I have been to 5 weddings in the past 2 years. That's present perfect, talking about an ongoing experience. The ceremony is the formal part of the wedding where the couple exchanges vows.
And then there's a reunion. That's a fun one.
A reunion is an instance of 2 or more people meeting again after a period of separation. This could be a family reunion, a high school reunion, or even a reunion of old colleagues. We had our high school reunion last year and it was great to see everyone. Simple past. I haven't been to a family reunion in years. Present perfect.
These are all great examples, and sometimes these celebrations have special traditions associated with them, right?
Yes, tradition refers to a belief, custom, or way of doing something that has existed for a long time. For instance, it's a family tradition to have a big dinner together every Christmas Eve. Or, have you ever participated in a graduation tradition?
This is all really helpful, Brian. Now, speaking of celebrations, I was thinking about our mutual friend, David. His birthday is coming up next month, and I was thinking we should plan a surprise party for him. A surprise party. That sounds like fun, Emily. I'm in. What do we need to do to plan it? This is a great opportunity to use some practical vocabulary for our listeners. Excellent. So first things first, we need to create a guest list. This means deciding who we want to invite. We should think about all his close friends and some family members. Have you ever helped organize a surprise party before?
I have, once or twice. It requires careful planning. After we have the guest list, the next step is to send out invitations. How should we do that? By email, text, or paper invitations? And what information should the invitation include?
Good question. For a surprise party, it's probably best to send out digital invitations via email or a messaging app. That way, we can easily track who has received them. The invitation needs to clearly state the date, time, and location. Crucially, it must say, "It's a surprise," in big letters. Big.
And we need to include an RSVP date, right? RSVP stands for Répondez s'il vous plaît, which is French for Please Respond. It's a common English abbreviation. This tells people when they need to confirm attendance by. We need to know who is coming so we can plan the food and drinks.
Exactly. We need people to RSVP by a certain date so we can get a final head count. Have you ever had trouble getting people to RSVP? It can be tough sometimes.
I have. Sometimes people forget to RSVP, and you have to send a reminder. After we've sent out the invitations and started getting RSVPs, we need to think about the venue. Do we host it at your place, my place, or rent a small hall? And decorations. We'll need balloons, streamers, a happy birthday banner.
Oh, I love decorations. We can make it really festive. And what about food? Should we cater it or should we ask guests to bring a dish?
Catering can be expensive, but it's very convenient. Or we could do a potluck, where everyone brings something. Or we could just order pizzas. We also need to think about a birthday cake for David. Have you ever baked a surprise birthday cake?
I haven't actually, but I'm willing to try. We should probably also coordinate gifts. Sometimes people prefer to contribute to one big gift rather than individual presents, or we can just let everyone choose their own gift.
Yes, that's a good point. And the actual celebration itself. We need to make sure David doesn't suspect anything. We'll have to tell him we're doing something else entirely to get him to the location without ruining the surprise. That's the tricky part of any surprise party, the big reveal. I've attended a few surprise parties where the person genuinely had no idea and their reaction was priceless.
Have you ever been surprised by a party, Brian?
I haven't, actually. No one has ever managed to pull one off for me. But I've seen a lot of happy faces when the birthday person walks in and everyone shouts surprise. It's a wonderful feeling of shared joy.
It really is. So just to recap our party planning vocabulary for our listeners, we start with a guest list, then send out invitations that include an RSVP date so people can confirm attendance. We also need to plan for decorations, catering, or food, and gifts.
And remember that this whole event is a celebration of David's birthday, a very important life event. We're using verbs like plan, organize, send out, confirm, attend, and celebrate.
And thinking about the grammar, we've used past tense to talk about what we've done at previous parties, like I attended a surprise party last year, and present perfect for general experiences, like I have never organized a surprise party before, but I'm excited.
This scenario highlights how frequently we use past tenses and present perfect when discussing events that have happened or experiences we've accumulated. It's about placing the event in time correctly.
So listeners, try to think about a recent celebration or life event you've experienced. Was it a birthday, a wedding, a graduation, or maybe a reunion?
How did you celebrate it? Who did you invite? Did you send out invitations? Try to describe it using the past tense. For example, last month I celebrated my sister's 40th birthday. We had a big party at a restaurant, and about 50 guests attended.
And also think about the celebrations you have attended in your life so far. Use the present perfect. For example, I have attended many weddings in different countries, or I have never been to a traditional Japanese tea ceremony.
Excellent advice, Emily. Practicing these sentences in context will help you internalize the vocabulary and the grammar much more effectively.
Exactly. Talking about these moments allows us to share so much about our lives and cultures. It's a fantastic way to connect with others in English.
From birthdays to weddings, these events are woven into the fabric of our lives and relationships. Mastering this vocabulary opens up a whole new realm of conversation.
Speaking of relationships and support, our next segment will focus on giving and receiving support. Because life isn't always celebrations, sometimes our family and friends need us during tougher times.
Yes, how to offer advice, encouragement, and comfort in English. Stay with us. Welcome back to the English podcast for listening and speaking. That last segment on celebrations was a joyful ride, Emily. It really showed how much fun we can have with our loved ones.
It certainly did, Brian. But as you just mentioned, life isn't always about parties and celebrations. Sometimes our closest connections, our family and friends, need us during difficult times. And knowing how to offer support in English is just as important as celebrating.
Absolutely, Emily. That's why in this segment, we're going to talk about giving and receiving support. This is a vital part of building strong relationships, and it uses a whole set of useful vocabulary and grammatical structures, especially modal verbs for giving advice.
Right. We'll cover words like advice, encouragement, support, comfort, listen, share, trust, help, and bond. These words are essential for expressing empathy and being there for someone.
And we'll focus on modal verbs like should, could, might, and must when we're giving advice or making suggestions. We'll also look at phrases for expressing empathy, like I understand how you feel, or I'm here for you.
I think this is such a valuable topic because showing empathy and offering help can be really personal. It's about more than just words. It's about connecting on an emotional level.
Precisely. And in English, there are many nuanced ways to do that. Emily, to get us started, perhaps you could share a scenario, like a friend going through a tough time, and we can explore how to offer support.
That's a great idea, Brian. Let's imagine our friend, Sarah, is feeling really overwhelmed with work and personal life. She just lost her job, and her grandmother is sick. She calls me, feeling really down.
Okay, so, as her friend, what's the first thing you would say or do?
My first instinct would be to simply listen to her, not offer solutions right away, but just let her share what's on her mind. I might say something like, "Hey, Sarah, it sounds like you're going through a lot right now. I'm here to listen if you want to talk."
That's an excellent start, Emily. Listening is often the most important form of support. It shows you care and you're present. When someone is opening up, you want to show empathy. You might use phrases like, I understand how difficult that must be, or that sounds really tough.
Yes, and after she's talked for a bit and I have a clearer picture of what's happening, I might ask, is there anything I can do to help? Sometimes people just need a specific offer, not a general one.
That's a very practical way to offer support. Instead of just saying, let me know if you need anything, which can be vague, a specific offer is much more helpful. You could say, I could bring you dinner tonight, or I could help you with your resume.
Exactly. And let's say Sarah feels a bit better after talking and listening, but she's still worried about her job search. She asks me for advice.
Ah, advice. This is where modal verbs come in handy. You should be careful not to tell someone what to do, but rather offer suggestions. For example, instead of "you must apply for more jobs," you might say, "You could try updating your LinkedIn profile."
That's a good point, Brian. Should and could are softer than must or have to. So for Sarah, I might say, you should probably take a day or two to rest and clear your head before diving back into job applications.
That's good advice. It's thoughtful and prioritizes her well-being. Or, you could also reach out to your network. Perhaps some old colleagues might know of openings. The word "might" here suggests a possibility, not a certainty.
What if she feels really discouraged? How can I give her encouragement?
Encouragement is about building someone up and reminding them of their strengths. You could say, "I know this is hard, but you will get through it. You're so talented and resilient." Or, "Don't give up. I have faith in you." Or, "You should definitely remember all the great things you've accomplished."
Those are wonderful phrases for encouragement. It's so important to remind people of their value when they're feeling low. What about when someone really needs comfort? Say, Sarah is crying because her grandmother's condition has worsened.
Comfort is about providing emotional solace. This often involves physical gestures like a hug, but verbally you can say, "I'm so sorry to hear that. My heart goes out to you and your family." Or, "This is incredibly sad, and it's okay to feel this way."
And you can also reassure them that it's okay to feel their emotions, right? Like, it's perfectly normal to feel sad, angry, frustrated right now.
Precisely. You're validating their feelings. Another phrase you could use is, "Please know that I'm thinking of you," or "I'm here for you, no matter what." This emphasizes unconditional support.
So we've talked about listening, sharing, helping, giving advice, offering encouragement, and providing comfort. All of these actions build trust in a friendship or family relationship.
Yes, trust is the foundation. When you consistently show up for someone and they feel safe being vulnerable with you, that's how a deep bond is formed. A bond is a strong connection or relationship between people.
So if someone trusts you, they are more likely to come to you when they need support. And you build that trust by being reliable and empathetic.
Exactly. And it's a two-way street. Sometimes we are the ones who need support, and we have to be able to receive it as well. It's okay to admit when you need help.
That's true. It can be hard to ask for help sometimes, but it's a sign of strength, not weakness. So if I were the one feeling overwhelmed, I might say to a friend, "I'm feeling a bit down, and I could really use a listening ear."
That's a perfect way to express needing support. Or, "I'm struggling with this project, and I could use some advice on how to approach it." Or, "I should probably talk to someone about this, and I was hoping you might have some time."
The modal verbs really make those requests softer and more approachable, don't they? Instead of a direct command like "help me," which can feel demanding.
They absolutely do. Using could or might makes it a suggestion or a gentle request rather than a demand. It gives the other person space to respond.
Let's recap some of these modal verbs and phrases for our listeners. If you want to give advice, you can use
You should, for example, you should take a break. You could, for example, you could try talking to your boss. You might want to. For example, you might want to consider all your options.
And for expressing empathy and comfort, "I understand how you feel. That sounds really tough. I'm here for you. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's okay to feel."
For offering practical help, "Is there anything I can do to help? I could, for example, I could pick up groceries for you. Let me know if you need anything specific."
And for encouragement, "Don't give up. You can do it. I believe in you. You're strong."
Remember the key vocabulary: advice, encouragement, support. comfort, listen, share, trust, help, and bond. These words are the building blocks for conversations about empathy and helping others.
And thinking about trust and bond, these are the deeper results of consistently giving and receiving support. When you trust someone, you have confidence in them and their reliability. And a bond is that close connection you share.
For example, our friendship has a strong bond because we always support each other. Or, I trust my best friend with everything. She always gives me good advice.
This segment really highlights how important emotional intelligence is in communication, even in a second language. It's about choosing the right words to show you care.
Exactly. And practicing these phrases and understanding the nuances of modal verbs will help you navigate these sensitive conversations in English with more confidence and empathy.
So, listeners, think about a time when you had to give support to a friend or family member. What did you say? Did you offer advice or simply listen?
Or think about a time when you received support. How did it make you feel? What did the person say or do that was particularly helpful or comforting? Try to describe these experiences using the vocabulary and modal verbs we've discussed.
For instance, my sister was feeling overwhelmed, so I listened to her for a long time. Then I told her she should take a break and that I could help her with some tasks.
Or, when I lost my job, my friend was incredibly supportive. She didn't give advice right away, but she said, "I'm here for you," which gave me a lot of comfort.
These are real-life scenarios where these words and phrases come alive. Being able to express empathy and offer help is a sign of a truly fluent English speaker.
It shows not just language proficiency, but also cultural understanding and interpersonal skills. It deepens your connections.
And speaking of connections and shared experiences, sometimes the best way to strengthen those bonds is through fun activities. In our next segment, we'll talk about fun activities together.
Get ready to learn vocabulary for planning picnics, game nights, and more. Stay with us. Welcome back to the English Podcast for listening and speaking. That last segment on giving and receiving support was incredibly insightful, Emily. It's so important to be there for our loved ones.
It really is, Brian. And sometimes, after navigating difficult times, or even just as part of everyday life, the best way to strengthen those bonds with family and friends is by simply spending quality time together, doing fun activities.
You're absolutely right. And that's exactly what we're focusing on in this segment. Fun activities together. We'll introduce you to essential vocabulary for common, enjoyable experiences, and we'll particularly focus on using the present continuous tense to talk about future plans.
This is a fantastic section because planning activities is something we do all the time. Whether it's a casual get-together or a big outing, knowing these phrases and the correct grammar will make your English conversations much more natural.
Exactly. We'll be looking at words like picnic, trip, dinner, barbecue, game night, movie night, hiking, and sightseeing, and we'll see how we use the present continuous like, "We're having dinner together this Friday," or "They're going hiking tomorrow."
This tense is super useful because it shows that something is a prearranged plan, not just a spontaneous idea. It implies a certain level of certainty, which is great for discussing schedules with friends and family.
To illustrate this, let's imagine we're planning our upcoming weekend, Emily. What are you up to this weekend? Any fun activities with family or friends?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Brian. This weekend is actually quite packed. On Friday evening, my sister and I are having dinner at that new Thai restaurant downtown. We are really looking forward to it.
Are having dinner, perfect use of the present continuous for a planned event. Is it a special occasion or just a regular dinner out?
Just a regular catch-up dinner, but it's been in our calendars for weeks. And then, on Saturday, my family is organizing a big barbecue at my parents' house. It's a tradition whenever the weather is good.
A barbecue. That sounds like a wonderful way to spend time outdoors. Are you grilling anything specific?
My dad is in charge of the grill, so he is making his famous ribs. And my mom is preparing a huge salad. Everyone is bringing a dish, so it is going to be a real feast.
That's a classic barbecue setup. And is organizing, is making, is preparing, is bringing, all showing those definite plans for the weekend. What about after the barbecue?
Well, after the barbecue, if people still have energy, we're thinking of having a game night. My cousins are bringing some new board games, so it is going to be competitive.
A game night is always a blast. We are having a game night with my neighbors next month. We always end up laughing so much. It's a great way to unwind and connect.
Absolutely. Board games really bring out people's personalities. So what about you, Brian? What exciting plans are you making for your weekend?
Good question, Emily. My weekend is looking a bit more relaxed, but still full of fun. On Saturday morning, my wife and I are going for a hike in the national park. We are planning to try a new trail.
Or going for a hike. Fantastic. Hiking is such a refreshing activity. Are you packing a picnic lunch for your hike?
As a matter of fact, we are. We're preparing sandwiches and some fruit for a picnic to enjoy at the summit. Nothing beats eating surrounded by nature.
I completely agree. A picnic is a simple pleasure, but it's always memorable. So hiking and a picnic for Saturday morning. What about Saturday evening?
Saturday evening, we are having a quiet movie night at home. We just subscribed to a new streaming service, and we are planning to watch a documentary series. We are making popcorn and settling in for a cozy evening.
A movie night is perfect for winding down. My husband and I often have movie nights on Fridays. What about Sunday, Brian? Any more plans?
Sunday is pretty open, but we are considering a short trip to a nearby historic town. We are thinking of doing some sightseeing and perhaps visiting a local museum if it is open.
A trip to a historic town for some sightseeing sounds lovely and educational. Are you planning to try any local food while you're there?
We are definitely looking for a nice local cafe for lunch. So as you can hear, Emily and I are talking about our hypothetical weekend plans, and we are using the present continuous tense constantly. It's because these are prearranged or definite plans.
Exactly. It's not I might have dinner, but I am having dinner. It tells the listener that the plan is set. So let's revisit the vocabulary and highlight the present continuous.
When you say, "We are having dinner tonight," you're talking about a planned meal. They are organizing a barbecue next Sunday. That's a scheduled outdoor event.
My friends are coming over for a game night on Saturday. Indicates a confirmed evening of games. We are planning a movie night for Friday. Means the film viewing is arranged.
She is going hiking this afternoon. Means she has a definite plan to walk in nature. They are taking a trip to the coast next month. Implies a journey that has been organized. We are doing some sightseeing in the city tomorrow. Suggests a planned tour of attractions.
Think about how these activities deepen connections. A picnic provides a relaxed setting for conversation. A trip creates shared memories. Dinner or a barbecue are prime opportunities for bonding over food.
Game night encourages friendly competition and laughter, while movie night offers a shared experience sparking discussions later. Hiking and sightseeing allow you to explore new places together.
These are all common, relatable ways to spend time with the people closest to you. And now you have the English vocabulary to describe them and use the present continuous to express your plans.
It's really about living the language, isn't it? If you have plans with your family or friends this week, try to describe them to yourself or to an English-speaking friend using this structure.
Yes, for example, this Saturday, my sister and I are going shopping, and then we are meeting our parents for dinner. Or, my brother is having a barbecue for his birthday, and I am bringing dessert.
Remember, the present continuous for future plans isn't just for immediate plans. You can say, "We are taking a big trip to Europe next summer," because it's a confirmed arrangement, like buying tickets or booking accommodation.
That's an excellent point, Brian. It's about the certainty of the plan. It's decided and arranged. It's not simply an intention.
So whether you're planning a casual dinner or an adventurous hiking trip, practice using these phrases. It will make your English sound so much more natural and fluent.
And it opens up so many possibilities for conversations. You can ask your friends, "What are you doing this weekend?" And you'll understand their replies easily.
Absolutely. And with that, we're almost at the end of our episode, but before we go, we are going to do a quick recap of all the valuable vocabulary we've learned today. Stay tuned. Welcome back for our final segment of today's episode of the English podcast for listening and speaking. We've covered so much ground today, from introducing our closest connections to planning fun times together.
It's been a wonderful journey through the world of family and friends. We've learned how to describe different relationships, talk about special events, offer support, and even plan those memorable get-togethers.
Indeed, Emily. And before we wrap up, let's quickly review some of the most useful vocabulary and expressions we've shared today. These are words that will truly help you talk about the people who matter most in your life.
All right, let's dive in. We started by describing family members. Do you remember words like sibling, referring to a brother or sister, or grandparents for your parents' parents? And then we had in-laws, which is a great word for your spouse's family.
Yes, in-laws is very practical for talking about marriage connections. Then when we moved to friends, we distinguished between a best friend, your closest companion, and a close friend, someone you share a deep connection with. We also touched upon personality traits like being loyal, faithful, and supportive.
That's right. And we didn't just talk about who people are, but also what you do with them and for them. We covered celebrations and life events with words like wedding for a marriage ceremony, a birthday for someone's special day, and a reunion when people get together after a long time. And don't forget, invitation for asking people to come.
Excellent summary, Emily. And in our segment on giving and receiving support, we highlighted the importance of encouragement, giving someone hope or confidence, and bond. Henda, referring to a close connection or relationship between people.
And finally, for all the fun activities together, we learned phrases like game night for an evening playing board games and picnic for an outdoor meal. These are so common and useful for planning social gatherings.
So, to recap our key words for today: sibling, grandparents, in-laws, best friend, close friend, loyal, wedding, birthday, reunion, invitation, encouragement, bond, game night, and picnic. That's a lot of useful vocabulary for your toolkit.
That's a fantastic list, Brian. These words are your building blocks for richer conversations about your personal life in English.
Exactly. Now, for your practice challenge this week, we want you to try describing your own family and friends using some of these new words.
Yes, think about it. Who is your best friend and what loyal qualities do they have? Or, when was the last family reunion you attended, and who among your in-laws did you see?
You could even describe a recent birthday celebration or a future game night you're planning. The more you use these words in your own context, the more naturally they'll come to you.
Don't just listen and understand. Actively produce the language. You can write a short paragraph or even just say a few sentences out loud to yourself, record yourself, and listen back. That's a great way to check your pronunciation and fluency.
And remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every time you try to use a new word or phrase, you're improving your English and building confidence.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode about family and friends. It's a topic that truly resonates with everyone, no matter where you are in the world.
If you found this episode helpful for your English learning journey, we have a small request. Please take a moment to like this video or episode. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button.
And don't forget to share it with anyone else who might be learning English. Sharing helps us reach more learners and helps them discover our podcast.
Also, we love hearing from you. So leave us a comment below. Tell us, what's your favorite activity to do with your friends? Or who is your most loyal sibling? Your comments help us understand what you enjoy and what topics you'd like us to cover next.
Your likes, shares, and comments are incredibly important. They help YouTube and other platforms recommend our show so more people can improve their English listening and speaking skills.
So please take a moment to do that. Your support means the world to us and keeps our channel growing.
And as we always say, fluency is about living the language, one phrase at a time.
Absolutely. And today you've taken another great step in living the language by learning to talk about life's closest connections.
Family and friends truly make life rich, and now you have the English to talk about them.
Thank you so much for joining us on the English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. We look forward to seeing you next time.